Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. I am Chad. I'm the Reseller Rockefeller. Today is Friday the 13th. It is December 13th. Hopefully, everybody watching today, hopefully you're having a good day. If you are a fellow reseller, I hope that your sales are doing good. I hope that your business is doing good. Today's going to be a pretty interesting video, so make sure you stick around all the way until the end of the video. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. For all of you that are new to the channel, I am a full-time reseller. I buy and sell items. I mainly, buy and sell stuff from yard sales, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, things of that nature, and I mainly go after used items. I do buy and sell new stuff, but most of the, inventory that I have is used items. Today we're going to be talking about jewelry. We're going to be talking about sterling silver and gold. We're also going to be talking about like silver items like dishes and things like that, sterling silver flatware. But we're not going to go in depth. I'm just going to be giving you like three really important tips or, like three important things that you should always think about and things that you should kind of learn before going out and trying to buy jewelry or trying to buy gold or silver. So we're going to go through some of those things. I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to show you some items that I have right here in front of me. And we're going to talk a little bit about different markings and different things like that. And I'm going to go through the three tips that I have for you. Alrighty, let's jump right into this video. So as you can tell, I have a bunch of sterling silver items and a bunch of gold items. There's also some precious stones like diamonds. There's all kinds of good stuff sitting in front of you. This is to show you and to give you an idea of the kinds of items that you're going to be able to identify and find out at garage sales and estate sales if you have the knowledge and the understanding and the know-how to be able to find these items. If this item was inside of a big box of costume jewelry, are you going to be able to find it? Are you going to be able to identify it? And do you know how to tell if it's gold or silver or platinum, or if it's silver plate, or if it's just some kind of nickel metal, or whatever the case may be? This is what this video is for. It's to help all of you out there that just want to be able to go out there and find really cool items like this, but you just don't know how to. Today, I'm going to be giving you three tips. Now, these three tips are obviously kind of like in-depth tips, so you're going to have to stick around until the end of the video, and I'm also going to throw in a few other tips throughout this video, and we're just going to try to make it one really good video to help as many people as possible to find and buy gold and silver. I get this question all the time. This is probably the number one question that I get asked from modern day resellers. Now, if you haven't been following my channel and you don't know what I mean when I say modern day reseller, I mean somebody that has started to buy and sell stuff within the last couple of years, and they only deal in kind of like new in box types items. They were kind of like trained with that modern day reselling system of, look up everything on your phone, scan all of the labels, and that's how you kind of determine what it is that you're going to buy and if you should buy an item. That's what I kind of like mean when I say a modern day reseller. For all of you that are out there that's been buying and selling stuff for years and you deal in antiques and collectibles and jewelry and gold and silver, you probably don't need to watch this video because you're already knowledgeable enough to be able to identify these items, and you've already kind of educated yourself enough to be able to, find gold and silver. But there's lots of resellers out there that pass stuff up like this all the time, and it just hurts me. It really does. Obviously I like it because, it's leaving more on the table for me, but I hate to see it because there's a lot of people that can capitalize, and there's a lot of resellers out there that can actually, benefit from being a little, a little outside of the box, or maybe going a different route than they potentially thought they would be going. I talked to another reseller the other day who was, only doing Amazon. That's all he's ever known. That's all he's ever learned. Do Amazon. He goes to garage sales and estate sales. He looks for new in-box type items. He buys those items. He ships them to Amazon and he makes money, right? And I was talking to him, and again, this is a person who loves reselling. He has a true passion in buying and selling items, but he never thought to himself that he would be able to learn how to identify sterling silver or anything like that. He never thought to himself that that was an option. He always thought that It took years and years and years and years of knowledge and experience to be able to go to an estate sale and find something like this and buy it and make money doing so. But, after talking to me, and us, getting along and becoming friends, he realized really fast that it isn't that hard. You just have to kind of implement yourself, educate yourself, and pay attention to those that are willing to teach you and guide you and show you. And that's what I'm here for. So today we're going to be talking about how to find gold and silver at yard sales and estate sales. Silver and gold obviously has been viewed as a treasure throughout the centuries. The key to finding gold and silver at garage sales and estate sales is to be smart and look for things that others missed. Now, when I say look for things that others missed, I don't typically always mean look for items that resellers missed. I just mean in general. Like if you're at a yard sale and somebody has some costume jewelry out on the table and you pick up a ring, like this ring right here. This is 18 karat gold, very beautiful ring. I can remember exactly where I bought this ring. I can remember exactly how much I paid for this ring. This was an item that was missed. They did not know what this item was. It was either because they never looked at it or they just threw a bunch of jewelry out on the table and they just missed. They didn't realize that it was gold and they sold it for extremely cheap price. And that's what I mean by, you got to be out there looking, and you got to understand that the only way you're going to be able to find gold and silver most of the times is when they missed, identifying it, or that they didn't know what it was, or, a lack of knowledge and they just didn't know what 585 means, or they didn't know what 925 meant, so they didn't have a clue how to price the item. In this video, I'm going to teach you 3 important things. Number 1, be prepared. Number 2, be early. And number 3, be cool. Focusing on garage sales and estate sales because thrift store staff are trained to spot valuable items. You got to understand this. Goodwill and other places will hardly make mistakes these days. Flea market sellers obviously and generally know what they have. People always tell me that they find stuff at thrift stores. I find silver stuff every once in a blue moon, but it is very, very rare. Thrift stores, they've upped their game. They know all about resellers these days. So you're not really going to find, like a silver item at a thrift store no more. They're just going to be able to identify it. Not saying that it's not ever going to happen and that you're never going to be able to do it. I'm just saying that most likely it's just not going to happen. Thrift stores, I kind of stay away from when it comes down to finding stuff like this. I don't ever go into a thrift store thinking, hey, I'm going to be able to find a really nice gold ring, or I'm going to be able to find sterling silver. Usually when I go to thrift stores, I'm looking for items like clothing, furniture items, maybe antiques, collectibles, toys, and electronics. So always think about that. So let's go ahead and jump right now. We're going to start with the number 1 thing, which is being prepared. Finding silver and gold at garage sales and estate sales is not easy. Basically, the only time you will find it is if a seller does not know what he has. For our purposes, being prepared means studying the most common markings for gold and silver. This is very important. I talk about it in a lot of my videos. Just, building your knowledge and educating yourself. Gold is usually always marked plainly with 24 karat, 18 karat, or 10 karat. So these markings are going to look something like this. And most people know what they have when they see these markings. Those are very common markings on gold. Sometimes gold is instead marked with a number indicating the purity of the gold. If you see 585, that means the gold is 58.5% pure, or 14 karat. If you see 999 or 0.999, that is pure 24 karat gold. You're very rarely going to see that on any, kind of like jewelry item, but you got to know what these, numbers and things like that mean, just in case you might come across something that's marked it. But most of the time, jewelry is never going to be marked 24 karat. It's never going to have the 999 or 0.999 mark. I've been doing this a really long time, and I've only found a few pieces that were ever 24 karat gold. There's a reason for that. I'm not going to go into details on that, but those are kind of less common. But just building your knowledge and educating yourself on markings in general is key. For example, I picked up this item at a garage sale. This is a vintage little Goodyear pin. This was, I'm pretty sure it was on a table with a bunch of costume jewelry, and I don't know if the camera's going to zoom in on that, but it was just on a table, and I basically picked it up. I looked at a few other items. I think I ended up buying quite a few items from these people, but this item is marked 585 on the back, and most people just don't know what that is. So they probably looked at it, and then they threw it down and said, hey, it's costume jewelry, let's sell it for $0.25. So you got to understand what these markings mean. These are the most common markings to look for, as they are the ones that are generally missed by uninformed sellers, like the 585. Those are, usually people just don't know what that means. Silver, on the other hand, is less common, which means more people are likely to undervalue what they have. The internet is full of stories of people buying 14-karat gold chains for 25 cents or heavy sterling silver bowl worth $500 for $1. Remember, pure silver is always marked .999. It's supposed to be marked as such. Other purities include sterling, which is 925, and it can be marked in numerous different ways. Some can have the marking like 92.5 or .925 or just 925 regular. There's so many different markings, and I could go on for days and days and days on all of the different markings and hallmarks and things of that nature. There's also other markings like 900 or 800 and etc. It is essential, that you learn how to spot silver-plated items. This is very important when you're at a garage sale and you walk up and you see an item and you're automatically excited and you think, oh, I found my first silver item, but you don't understand what the marking means and you don't realize that it's actually sterling silver plate. There's lots of stuff that's marked sterling silver plate, but there's also other, ways that they mark it, like abbreviations and such, like EP, which means electroplated, and then there's obviously the mark EPNS, for example, which means electroplated nickel silver. There's all kinds of markings. You're going to have to educate yourself, and I'm going to give you a really good website to go do that. This website is www.925-1000.com. This website has a comprehensive guide to American, British, and world silver hallmarks, symbols, or markings used by known manufacturers of sterling silver products. Go check this site out and print off the information so that you can study it. This is a very good website. I've been using it for a really long time. You can find all kinds of different hallmarks, symbols, markings, things of that nature. So make sure you go check that website out. It would be a good idea to invest in a loupe. I talked about this in other videos. Go out, buy yourself a loupe. You can buy these all the time at any jewelry store. You can find them online for extremely cheap. Just try to get yourself a halfway decent loupe. This is basically just an eyepiece magnifier. Jewelers use it. People like myself use it. It makes it to where you're able to see little markings very, very easy. This is a must-have for anybody that's trying to buy gold and silver, or anything for that matter that has small markings. You want to be able to identify items, you're going to have to buy a jeweler's loupe. So go out there and buy a nice jeweler's loupe. The other item that I'm going to recommend, this is obviously for people that are a little bit more serious and they want to actually spend some money. This is a diamond tester. This is going to cost you a little bit of money. I think I paid like $150 maybe. It might have been a little bit more because I bought it like right when it first came out. But this is a very good loupe. This is the Lapis 1. And the reason that I like this one is because it tests for diamond, moissanite. You got to make sure to get one that tests for moissanite, because there's a lot of moissanite out there that will test positive for diamonds on like a very inexpensive diamond tester. I've seen a lot of resellers that buy like very cheap diamond testers from Amazon. I think they have them for like $15 or something. And they're basically square, they're black, and all they have is like a little meter that goes from, I think, red to green, and it basically it sucks. It's not a good diamond tester. I can show you stones that will pass on that tester all day long that are definitely not real diamonds. So invest, if you're serious about jewelry and precious stones, invest in a halfway decent diamond tester. There's a lot of better diamond testers on the market, but this one seems to be pretty darn good. I haven't had it do any kind of false readings or false testings on stones, and I've had it for quite some time now, and it works really good. Number 2 tip that I'm going to give you is to be early. This is pretty self-explanatory. There will be others trying to do the same exact thing as you're doing, right? People are trying to get up early. They're trying to get to the estate sale. They're trying to get to the yard sale before you. So being early is very important. I talk to other resellers in my area all the time about this. It's funny because I'll show up at I'll show up at an estate sale, and then it'll just be me and a few other resellers, because those are the ones that are going to try to beat the other ones to yard sales. It's really important. Be early. Obviously, you won't be, able to arrive early to every single sale. So spend time before the sale even begins, like the night before. Go and review the classifieds. Go to, the yard sale treasure map. Go online to Facebook groups that have to do with garage sales in your area, and spend a few minutes doing research, trying to see if there's any garage sales that list anything that you're already looking for. If I see a garage sale and they say, I start at 8 a.m., I have a lot of antiques and collectibles and jewelry items, that is already an identifier, and it's already, I already know that that's a good sale that I want to go to. It puts me on the right track. So being early and, doing some research ahead of time can really help you into, in finding the good stuff. This is another really good tip. Look out for yard sales in wealthy neighborhoods. Obviously, this is kind of really self-explanatory, and this is for like really, really, new resellers. But obviously, if you see that there's a neighborhood sale and it's in a very wealthy neighborhood, make sure you go to that neighborhood, because you're liable to find some really good stuff. That's just a fact. All right, number 3, be cool. This is a very overlooked, tip. This is something that a lot of resellers, they don't have a lot of experience in, or they're just not good at it at all. And I find it comical sometimes, because this is very important. So don't overlook this tip. Being cool. If you happen to find a huge score, let's say like a 1 ounce chain or something, marked, 585 or 14 karat. Let's say it's a big necklace and it's really nice, or let's say it's a really gorgeous diamond tennis bracelet. You got to stay calm, right? You have to remain calm, cool, and collective, or else you're going to make the seller pay more attention. They might double look at the item. I've had this happen to me plenty of times. I've been at a garage sale. Let's use this as an example. I've been at a garage sale and I've said, hey, how much are the rings? And they say $1. And then I pick up a ring and I say, okay, I'd like to buy this one. And they look at the ring. They take a second look. They look at it and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. This ring belonged to my grandmother. It's not supposed to be out here for sale. I'm sorry. We can't sell this ring to you. So that's a really big bummer, and I've had it happen to me over and over. I can't even count how many times that's happened to me. So instead of doing what I just did, I like to use, tactics like, not picking the item up. Basically, look at all of the items in the box, identify if there's anything real or fake, or, identify what's in the box, right? So if I look into a box and I see a bunch of costume jewelry, but then I also see some items that I believe to be as gold, I just simply say, how much is the jewelry? Then they're going to reply, which piece? And then you reply, I don't know, just, how much are the rings? How much are the bracelets? What would you take for the whole box? And be very cool, calm, and collective. Don't show that you're really interested in a certain item, because then that's going to draw their attention to that item. So then they might say, oh, well, I was thinking $1 each. Or I was thinking $0.25 each. Then you just say, based on what you've seen in the box, and obviously this is going to be, based on what is actually there, But, you might say, hey, what would you take for the whole box? And they say, well, I'll take $5. If you've seen a couple of pieces of gold that you believe is gold, or maybe you've seen some silver items, just go ahead and grab the box for $5 or whatever the price they put on it. You're going to have to dictate if that's a good price or not based on what you've seen. So that's what I mean by knowledge is key, because if you look inside of a box and you see multiple items that are gold and you see some really beautiful pieces, right? And this lady says, oh, that box of jewelry, I want $100 for it. Really quickly, you're going to have to decide, is it worth $100? Then you might want to pull your loupe out. You might want to take a look at a few pieces. But remember, you don't want to draw that much attention. You definitely don't want to start pulling out diamond testers unless they've already had prices on the items. Now, at estate sales, I will pull out my diamond tester. I will pull out my loupe. If I'm buying a large amount of gold at an estate sale, I will even start testing items. It's not uncommon. But you have to make sure they understand that, like, you're buying, these items, right? Let's say you have 30 items. And I talked about this actually yesterday in my video. If you didn't see yesterday's video, go check it out. I bought some gold items from an estate sale. And basically, I did it without testing the items. But in a situation where you need to test the items, don't be afraid to do so. It just kind of depends on the situation, where you're at, who you're dealing with, and things of that nature. But, anyways, so, be cool, stay calm and collective. You want to make sure to, that you don't, like, show your hand, right? And that's for numerous reasons. It's for, you don't want the seller to pay attention to the items that you're trying to buy. Also, you don't want other resellers to come up and try to, get in on the deal. That's something that I have a problem with a lot at other, at yard sales and estate sales. Part of being cool is being discreet. You want to make it to the jewelry table first. I talk about this all the time in videos. I always go to the jewelry table first because I want to get my hands on everything that's gold and silver. It's just that simple. There's a lot of money to be made in gold and silver. So when I go to a yard sale or an estate sale, the first section that I usually go to is the jewelry section, if there is jewelry. Another part of being cool is, trying to be discreet. You don't want to draw a lot of attention to yourself. And you definitely don't want to draw a lot of attention to the table. I'm a well-known reseller in my area, so if I stand at a table and I am focused on certain items, other resellers will actually come because they want to see what I'm looking at. And it's a problem that you're going to have as a well-known reseller, as somebody that is, a fast, mover. I move really fast when I'm at yard sales and estate sales. I like to get things done. I'm a businessman, but again, you have to be discreet. When you're at an estate sale, you can run into problems where other resellers will walk up. So, like, let's say, for instance, you walk up to a table that's similar to this, and there's a lot of items. There's sterling silver, there's gold. You immediately want to tell the person, hopefully there's somebody behind the table, you automatically want to make it known to the seller that you're interested in buying all of the gold and all of the silver. I do this all the time at estate sales. I do this all the time at garage sales because, you don't want another reseller coming up and saying, hey, I'm interested, and they just start to pick up items. You don't want that. You want to make it clear that you're interested and try to kind of, stand tall and guard the area that you're looking at. If you have to, start to pick up the items. Start to pick it up and put it in your hand. That's very, very easy to do. Sometimes if there's like an item like this, you just automatically start putting these items in there and then hold that in your hand and start to, look at the item one by one. Just automatically try to make it, very clear to the seller and also to other resellers that you're looking at the stuff and that when you're done, they can look. It's just that simple. Some resellers might consider that to be, being rude or not being generous or whatever the case may be. But hey, we're all resellers. My job is to get out here and make money. My job is to find items and to buy those items and to resell those items so I can feed my family. And that's just the way it is. So make sure that you stay calm, cool, and collective. Even when you find something that's really nice, you don't really want to get loud or excited, and you don't want the person to know that you're really excited about that item, because they might change the price of the item. So that is pretty much it. I'm going to talk a little bit about finding like all of the different hallmarks and markings and symbols on the website that I gave you earlier. That is www.925-1000.com. Go look at all of the different markings. When you're talking about markings and things, you might have something like this. This is marked sterling, and then it has a little number on the bottom just under the sterling. It says 2791, and then under that it has a little marking of a lion's head, it looks like, and a few other markings. So you want to become familiarized with those markings so that you can identify where the item was made and approximately how long ago the item was made. So that can help you into, obviously, when it comes down to listing the item. If you're trying to sell items like this on eBay or something, it definitely can help you a lot, knowing where it's from, who made it, and what time period it was made. If you're trying to just scrap items, obviously that doesn't really matter as much. I don't really scrap a lot. Every now and then I'll scrap silver. It just depends, but most of the times I like to sell the stuff on eBay. There's lots of people that collect stuff like this. There's lots of people that want stuff like this. So I don't really scrap a whole lot. I do scrap gold, but it just all depends on the item. It depends on the market. It depends on my capital. If I need money to reinvest into something else, I will take gold to the scrap person and I'll sell it for scrap prices. But you always got to make sure that you're doing the right thing based on what you and your business needs, right? You don't want to just scrap gold just because everybody's scrapping gold. The only reason that you should ever scrap gold is if you need the cash, if you actually need that liquid money so that you can reinvest it into other things. Also, I'll be making other videos later on down the road talking about stones. Stones is a really big deal, right? When it comes down to jewelry, how much a piece of jewelry is worth, having, stones can make a huge difference in the value of an item. And I've seen a lot of resellers, they just don't care about the stones. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of you in the comment section saying, yeah, Chad, when you go to scrap, jewelry, especially gold, nobody's going to pay you for the stones. That's 100% false. There are plenty of jewelers that buy scrap gold. There's plenty of jewelers that buy gold with stones, and they'll pay more for stones. Most pawn shops, they are going to tell you that they don't care about the stones and that they're not going to pay you anything for the stones, and that's 100% correct. Hopefully, if you are a reseller, you know not to sell to pawn shops. Pawn shops, most of the times, they don't really pay you that much. Usually, from my experience, they only pay you roughly, I think like the pawn shop around my area might pay you 60% melt on gold. But when it comes down to stones, they won't even think twice about it. They'll tell you they're worthless. They'll try to always, tell you they have no value, this, that, and another. So, you got to be smart about it. You got to meet people. You got to make connections with jewelers, and you have to know how to get rid of jewelry. eBay is a great way to sell jewelry. If you, are a reseller, I wouldn't be scared to sell jewelry on eBay. It's definitely, if you know how to sell and you're already selling on eBay and you know how to protect yourself, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. I sell diamonds. I sell jewelry with diamonds all the time on eBay. I sell gold all the time on eBay. I sell everything. I'm constantly selling stuff on eBay. I'm not really sure why this is not testing for me right now. I was wanting to show you really quick the diamond tester, but for some reason I keep hitting the metal. Let me try it again. There we go. It can be finicky sometimes, but having a good diamond tester is good. Let's see if we can pull out another one. This one's a little bit bigger, so hopefully it'll test a little easier. There we go. So anyways, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for coming and watching another video. Hopefully y'all, learned something today. Hopefully you were able to take something away from this video. Make sure to go check out the website. Look at the hallmarks, markings, and symbols. Learn as much as you can about jewelry, and come back and watch another video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Until next time, folks, I'm out of here. Peace.